Hello everyone and welcome back to the Black Tower Stories as we continue the adventures in Athoria. Jace the producer here, and this voiceover is to make up for a very small error we had during our stream where we had no audio from the players other than myself. So here's a brief recap of what we lost during that first hour. We start with the traditional banter where Eric says something that can be misconstrued out of context, and then we hop into the gameplay shortly after. So the party begins by waking in their inn room and discussing the plan for the day. With no leads on where to find the head of Serenus the Horned Lord, Yandere convinces Volred to attempt his phase sense again. Calum also performs a small ritual in order to follow Volred in this journey. The two are dropped into an icy assault of cold weather, enough to harm the skin, but being led by Volred's senses, they come across the tomb. A thunderous voice declares them trespassers, and undead begin to rise and assault them. Volred and Calum briefly discuss what to do, and that's where we join them now. So, enjoy, and hope we don't have this issue again.
With these odds.
So we should go.
We could also wait and see what they say. Or what they do.
An even better idea.
Okay. As you guys are having this conversation, you see piles of snow out near the top of this recessed area back where you guys landed starts to kind of break as corpse-like figures, armored, start rising from underneath the snowdrifts, like Draugr from Skyrim. As you kind of glance back to this kind of corpse-like feature from the sarcophagus, as he kind of comes back, his back arches, you watch this energy kind of raise up and start to form some kind of a spectral head. It begins somewhat humanoid, but as it reaches the top, he appears to wear kind of a stag head helm with these kind of large branching antlers that are sharpened to fine points. This humanoid individual's features are somewhat contorted and monstrous. As it reaches back, throws open its mouth, and lets out a blood-curdling roar, sharp fangs and glowing eyes. The figures that are rising up from the snow above you do a similar thing, where as they kind of come up to full height, they start chanting out loud as if echoing their master's war cry.
I feel like we are invisible, or we are able to be seen. So
right quick. Volred, would you mind giving me another phase sense? At advantage.
Advantage?
Yep. And yeah, because at this point in time, 22. At this point in time, Yandere, you're kind of feeling it. You hear that horn, and then that energy starts taking on a form that you recognize. It's a similar.
Inside, or?
No, Yandere is kind of sensing.
Oh, he's the conduit. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's kind of he's doing that. He's just kind of watching the knobs and the dials, and is seeing some weird shit go on. Volred, you and Calum are there as this figure suddenly snaps his head over towards you guys, and then kind of reaches out with one kind of clawed finger and starts pointing at you, Volred, and speaking in Sylvan, which I actually believe both of you guys can speak. This kind of hoarse, breathy voice comes out. To violence. And then he goes, "You shall speak your name." And then all the kind of undead people on top slowly start lumbering down the hill towards you.
Can we pull back, or are we stuck?
I was gonna say,
you guys pull back if you want.
You've been telling me that like all this stuff. Like, do I get an action Because if I'm starting to recognize, and I heard the horn, I would automatically assume that there's probably the hunt. But do I get any opportunity to react or do something at this point in time, or is this still kind of up in the air?
Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and try. Obviously, this stuff isn't necessarily unfolding in linear time, but yeah, I mean, if you've got something that you want to try and do that you think might help.
Well, I mean, the first thing I would do is try to break contact with Volred, like try to end the connection, because I'm gonna have to use my hands to try to get rid, like figure something out. So I would remove one of my hands to try to break whatever connection he has to the Feywild directly.
Okay. So, as you guys do that, Volred, Calum, you guys start to feel a tugging sensation, as if someone has kind of reached their hand through your back, grabbed hold of your heart, and is attempting to yank it out through your spine. Just then, the undead figures are now rushing towards you rather quickly, and you feel a snap. And the space around you suddenly shifts and contorts as you can kind of sense your spiritual essence is being pulled elsewhere. You try to essentially grab on to some kind of stabilizing force. Volred, with your phase sense, you're able to kind of lock in a little bit more. And as you're kind of pulled through the storm once again, you can see that kind of that altar space kind of disappearing in front of you. Your eyesight spins over until you see kind of an old kind of pine forest. There's a light there, which looks like a small village amongst the trees, kind of covered in a dazzling array of lights, in the center of which appears to be a large bonfire, and you hear the sounds of merriment. Your vision gets pulled elsewhere, clear across the far side of the realm, to the large, jagged, kind of citadel of ice, sitting atop a series of layered glaciers, and you see a roving pack of frost giants, kind of making their way along the shimmering expanse. Then you're yanked backwards yet again before your senses and consciousness are slammed back into your material body. And all at once, it kind of hurts as your body goes from this. It's like when you've been outside so long and you're so cold, and you step into the heat that the temper differential is so much that it kind of hurts. It feels uncomfortable. So there's that brief moment as you're having to acclimate to the sudden change of environment. But no worse for wear, apparently.
Well, you kind of got called out. I wonder if you could see me.
Called out.
Did you say, what are you talking about?
Yes.
It went in your direction. What is your name? Or tell me your name.
He said, "Yeah, you shall spit your name." Just felt like a question.
Whom?
Some undead, resurrected, some that came out of a tomb. Kind of like a weird magical stag head thing.
Like this? The child drawing? With a sign with exclamation marks and danger written in like 12 different languages around it.
Yeah,
Peligro.
Pretty sure before he said "you shall spit your name," he said something about violence.
Caleb, can you please elaborate?
Dustin doesn't know the exact words that he spoke.
He said first, defilers, and then
Defilers.
said, "You shall speak your name."
Okay, so he said defilers plural. So
Defilers plural, but specifically looking at Volred, he said, "You shall speak your name."
So I will say exactly that and say that he pointed to Volred, but he probably saw both of us.
And you didn't speak your name, correct?
No,
of course.
we were getting pulled back.
So they know what you look like, but they don't have your name. Okay, well, they sounded the horn. So we should see what happens. But be prepared to leave at a moment's notice.
Didn't they sound the horn in my other visions?
Correct. They did. But they didn't have your faces.
I've mentioned before that it seemed as though they appeared to have been looking at me, at least in 2 other instances.
Yeah,
One
one,
monster.
he almost rode you down. But there was a bunch of other people in that vision too, so who knows who he was actually trying to kill.
Well, while this is fresh on your mind, what else did you see?
So it was icy and snowy, and when we came to, it was a road that had a ruinous sort of temple of sorts that appeared to have been at least partially caved in by the ceiling, or well, actually there's would have been a ceiling there. It was just a bunch of pillars kind of at the bottom of like a little like sunk-in hill or something. And then there are these markings on the wall, and I'm going to attempt to draw out what some of the markings look like.
Caleb will assist with that and use my illusion.
Yeah, and just to kind of clarify here, as the 20 questions goes on, Yandere, it starts to sound, based on the trees, kind of like that place that Kyane, at least in her form of Izir, warned you to stay away from, called the Gloomwood Thicket, that lies like northwest in this area, as she did warn you that that's where Black Crom's tomb is. And so you can kind of gather that in attempting to reach out to the head of Sarunos, maybe it was that bad initial phase sense and he found like the body instead. Something again, so it found the next best thing.
Okay, so like, let's see. When you say the next best thing, you're saying that the horn used to belong to this dead person? I mean, I know some of the detail isn't necessarily in game here, but like, can you clarify that?
Yeah. So just to kind of quickly clarify, because Yandere would have kind of explained this from times. In the same way that like Kyane is known by one name Izir and is also known as Kyane,
I'm already
depending on
lost.
Snow Bitch, the goddess of winter. Okay, Snow Bitch is known by 2 different names. The weird deer head guy that Yandere prays to or whatever is also known by 2 names. In Yandere's hometown, they just call him Sarunos. But here in Winter Place, they call him Black Crom. Sarunos in Yandere's place, kind of just a neutral dude. Sarunos here, not nice kosher dude. But because of Pumpkin King asshole in Autumn cut off Deerhead Guy's head and stole his horn. So now his body, which you assume to have just met, is now running around trying to find his head, and he's pissed off and basically killing everything that he comes across. But the horn can be used to summon him and his ghostly Dullahan followers. So he's essentially 3 pieces. You guys have found the horn back in Autumn. You guys are looking for the head, and then would have at some point hoped to meet that up with the body. But you found the body first. And the body doesn't like you, it seems.
Thank you.
Any other clarification on that? Okay. And of course, that's all for you, Rab, because, I mean, Volred probably didn't pay attention to any.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else did you see? I see the runes and stuff like that. I realize that you have looked. This is out of character. I realize that you have found the body instead of the head. I understand that you went to the Gloomwood Thicket, which is where the body is, and I'm trying. You can get a sense that Yandre is trying to see if you got any other information other than just the location that you were at. Like, was there anything else that you got?
I don't think there was anything else.
Nah, the place was pretty bare bones.
Yeah, as we were trying to look and see what else we could find, that's when this happened. And we were forced out.
Yeah, and the clearing that you guys were at were not very big, so it's like, this is probably the only thing that was there. I mean, who knows what would have been down the path, but it was very clear that that area was intended strictly to serve that sepulcher.
When you heard the horn, I'm not going to draw assumptions on that. Never mind. Skip that question.
What they say about making assumptions. It hunts you down, forces you to say your name, then reduces you to 0 hit points, and then cuts your head off.
Essentially. So you'll see Reggie get up and begin to kind of like pace, as if like he's trying to think over the next course of action. I appreciate you traversing and doing the vision as requested. I don't necessarily feel like I got anything more than where we began. I don't know where they're sending the hunt, and so it'd be best to lay low for a little bit. If we feel that the hunt is coming here, my advice to everyone would be to not be in its presence, as you have had the opportunity to see those beings that travel with Serenos, Blackrom, are entities that are far deadlier than anything that I've ever experienced. I would implore you, for your safety, that we leave if they get here. And Yandre begins to just kind of walk off and start pacing again. And DM, I'll have a question for you here in a second. Just be on the
Okay.
Well, shit.
So it sounds like we need to lay low for a minute.
Probably
Yeah.
don't fight in a big open arena.
Well, I need to lay low. Caleb needs to lay low.
Neither one of us.
It's true.
I just won't bet on it.
So we could fight something else.
By we, you're not referring to me,
Oh, no,
correct?
you didn't fight anything, so you're good.
Well, you were looking in my
Me?
general area.
I was trying to look over at Kelmac, but he's just kind of a mound in a blanket right now.
Is he sick?
Concussion.
Ow.
Catnip
Really
edibles,
got,
man.
Drugs.
got hit pretty hard in that fight. You guys gonna be okay against the others? Or the brothers?
Oh, we talked about that while you were slightly away. We don't think it's best if 3 of us fight 2 of them, because the only real reason we did so well with the Hydra is because we could focus attention on one thing without being encircled, and we could control the direction of things. If there's 2 of them, then we're kind of fucked in that situation. So it kind of need to be like a 5-on-2 thing. Which the announcer guy seemed real keen on, like that was what he thought we were going to do, and he was like, that would be a fair fight. So 3-on-2, really laying into the underdog mentality there. So probably no.
Okay.
And now you guys went and got your faces seen, so we can't use you guys in a fight. So Frost Giant fight off the table for now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Aren't wanted fey criminals.
I don't foresee that happening anytime soon.
Damn. I guess I'll just have to get stronger and fight the giants myself.
Sure. Go.
I like your confidence.
For now. Is there anything else that we wanted to do?
Toast?
Or
We
are
got
y'all
some
going to
toast.
sleep?
It's the morning.
Didn't y'all just finish
course.
the fight?
No, it's the next day now.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it is your 4th day in winter. And I mean, it's like mid-morning at this point.
I'm gonna go get some fey toast. It's like regular toast, only it's like a
It's like
muffin.
French toast, you know?
It's an English
but
English
more-
muffin, but it's fey.
Right.
It's a mystical food here.
I am assuming that, given my father's knowledge of what's going on, if the hunt does attack the prime in any capacity, he would let me know.
That's an English muffin? That looks like pancakes biscuit style.
It doesn't taste like that. That's it, Eric. Next time we play it at Ari's house, get English muffins on the way.
Okay. You always like to detour to find stuff, even though like you could totally buy that stuff before we
I go
leave.
to
But
a quick trip so I can get an energy drink.
the point is,
Not
it's
a
like,
detour. It's on the way. I plan on it. It's like I planned on
Okay,
that,
you're right.
that wrong turn I made.
yeah, and it gives us time to talk about you when you're not around.
when it gets to the middle of summer, I want to roll the windows up and turn the car off. With the child safety locks on.
I mean, I'd probably be okay with that. Your other passengers would probably die, though. My understanding is otters don't do too well in extreme heat if you leave them out of the water for too long.
You'll never know it's gonna happen. He doesn't watch the stream anymore.
All out of fighting ideas. Don't have any more clues. Could we request an audience with Jack Frosty person?
As this all is doing and asking all these questions, Reggie's just gonna go outside. He's gonna walk out.
Not on the balcony, but all the way out.
Well, so where is the balcony facing? Is it in?
It faces out the street. Remember, they gave you a nice, good one so you can see the street. I'm trying to figure out: are you wanting privacy?
Oh no, it's not a privacy thing. It's more so Reggie's gonna go out to the balcony, and just kind of glance around to see everybody's reaction. He's basically trying to get a read on this is the closest place to the Dark Hunt. Well, this is the closest place that Reggie has been to the Dark Hunt. And being that the Dark Hunt gets sent out periodically, I would assume people in this general area would have some type of reaction or start trying to hide. Yeah, so
bomb shelters.
Yeah, so Reggie's just going out to the balcony and kind of keeping an eye on the surrounding to see if there's any panic being induced, if anybody else is noticing a change in anything specific, just so that we can get a gauge on how people are reacting.
Yeah, with your passive insight, that's really easy to do. So you spend a couple minutes and soak up the local color, trying to get a sense. As far as you can tell, everything is going just fine. People seem to be just going about their day. Nothing appears to be amiss. You see even a couple of the guards kind of make their way through, and none of them appear to be rushed. It's almost as if the inside of your little hotel room is an entirely different world than out there in the city.
Okay. Go ahead, Isal. I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't mean to cut you off.
What is it? I was wondering if we can request an audience with that guy, but I don't know. I don't know anybody yet.
I'm sorry. And you can tell Reggie's listening, but not intently. And so he catches when I'm assuming you're asking Reggie if they could you guys could request a audience, or was that just more of an open-ended question?
Just out into the room.
Yeah. So Reggie chimes in on it briefly and just goes, "I'm sorry. I am not incredibly familiar with Prince Frost and his delegation and how they operate here, but I would imagine our show yesterday garnered some attention, and as Caleb mentioned yesterday, it may have sparked some attention from the prince. I would imagine we probably just simply need to go to the arena and gauge that interest and see if there's an opportunity for us to speak with the prince."
I have a plan.
No, I just feel like the option is now to lay low again, which isn't really anything we weren't already kind of doing.
And to clarify, what I mean by lay low is just not to garner any extravagant attention to those who've been seen. We can still carry about in the city and wander, do normal activities, Um, I guess you see that Reggie is like struggling to kind of formulate a lot of the words. The experience that Yandre has had with the Dark Hunt is they are more stampede and rampage, not necessarily those who search specifically um, for someone. They have a tendency to be sent to a location and just told to destroy anything in the path. And the assumption is that should they go to one location, nothing makes it out. But I don't think that they're naturally looking for either one of you two specifically. The lay low part is if we get any traction of the hunt being sent here, we're going to need to disappear quite quickly. But that's the same for anybody else in the city.
So we're not trying to get information from Thrust then.
I believe that that is still an option. Worst case scenario is if we hear the hunt being sent here, we leave. If Frost has some intent of having the hunt be sent here, we'll still notice before it's upon us. I took a quick look outside, and it doesn't appear that anybody here appears to be any sense of worry. Izal, did you happen to hear the horn during the time that Caleb and Volred were indisposed?
Did I?
Nope.
No? I don't.
Great. That at least gives me some solace in understanding that if a horn was sounded here, there would be more commotion or more panic outside. Everyone outside appears to be acting the same, moving about as if it's a normal day. So we keep an eye on the temperament here and get a better understanding. If people appear to become panicked, we go on high alert. If they're not, we continue about our business.
So we're trying to find where the head is, right? That's the goal? Looking
Correct.
for clues for it? We try.
One thing I will say, thank you, Volred, is we at least know that the sarcophagus is in the Gloomwood thicket. We're going to have, well, not we, I'm going to have to return the head back to that body. I knew that the Dark Hunt was there, but now I have an understanding that the sarcophagus is where the body is being held. Gives me a little more information to work with. Still missing the head, and we know where the horn is. The three pieces that are needed to finalize all of this. I'm sorry, Izal. I interrupted you again.
It's just the only way that we have to look for the head then is with what you just tried now?
Or is someone of high power, possibly the Prince Frost, knowing of some information or a hiding place in which the head could be held. The Court of Winter is a land of secrets and dealings. There's a good chance that there's a lot of knowledge that is not meant to be passed around, but is well known amongst the higher ranking members of society. The other option that I had earlier was to talk to, as Volred had quite quaintly put it when we were back in the Prime, the was it the winter or snow bitch? You referred to her. Either way, that was somebody else of great power that might have information on where the head is located. So it is not just simply Volred's capability and ability there. It's an information finding opportunity.
Which one do you think would be the most likely candidate to work?
Well, the goddess of winter was at least amicable when we brought up the potential of ridding her from additional issues with the Dark Hunt. Having Ceranos' head here poses additional issues with her protecting the lands. Though, she was getting ready to send us into a place where we were potentially going to meet our doom. So I'm not entirely sure how reliable the information or connection is there. Prince Frost is known to be a little more hospitable. He's more open to having outsiders, as you can see. We're here without any issues. But I don't know. I don't have much favor with him. Haven't spoken to him. At this point, I'm just willing to try whatever we can.
I say we go try to get an audience with Frost. He's close. He has some kind of interest. And if he doesn't like us, we GTFO again.
And there's at least some respect with the fighting trio that was gained from us. So I think that would be the best way to get in.
So the best thing for us to do now would be to go and meet with the arena coordinator, see about leveraging our recent battle and getting an audience with Frost.
Sounds like a plan. Or we wait around here until a horn blows.
Well, I'm not entirely privy to waiting around for a horn to blow, so if you're wanting to go, I suggest we go now. The earlier the better, as the coordinator's probably taking up names for people to participate in the fights today. Probably be easier to find them.
Ready to go then.
Should we leave Kelmac?
We should probably bring him with us in case we have to emergency get out of here to go find him. You gotta chase him down. I'll take him up. Come on, get your flip him out of the back.
Okay. Unceremoniously dump him.
You don't gotta be conscious, you just gotta be there. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Lay on hands your head. Getting a twitchy eye.
Lay on head. Probably not that fancy. Not that much. Okay. So, you guys are heading to the Everfrost Arena to speak with Sylvaris.
Apparently. We'll make a good impression.
Yes,
Or die trying.
that part.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you head to the Everfrost Arena. As expected, the place is pretty busy this time of day, with individuals kind of participating in and watching various fights. It doesn't kind of take much time for you guys to kind of navigate through the throngs. You guys are kind of getting stopped a little bit by a number of individuals who kind of recognize you from your exploits the other day, and are in the process of kind of going, hey, good. Most of them are speaking Sylvan and don't understand, but a couple individuals do speak the common tongue, perhaps remembering that you guys are not from here. And before long, you make it up near the front, near the betting counters, where you see the familiar figure of Sylvaris Frostfire. And as he kind of turns around and kind of glances over at you, oh, my friends, my friends. Well, I trust you've come here to give me the good news. You are planning on taking me up on my generous offer, yes?
It appears that yesterday, one of our party members took quite a thrashing, and has found himself a little indisposed today.
He kind of looks a little bit over at Kelmac, who is just kind of like, oh. Yeah. Well, terrible shame. So, someone will be sitting in for him, or you'll need a day to recuperate?
Possibly the latter. But I had a question for you. There was some garnered interest by some of your hierarchy here, given our show yesterday. I'm curious about that. You covered an extraordinary amount of funds for additional betting. Why did he take such an interest in our group here?
Well, yes, not being from here, I suppose you wouldn't necessarily know much about our good ruler here. Well, I suppose the most important thing to understand is that Prince Frost is, well, he served here in Winter, and the supreme ruler of the land of Winter for an exceptionally long time. And as one of the few actual noble bloodlines here in Winter, his family, specifically he himself, has largely always handled this region. And, well, one thing you might not know is that, unlike many of the other Fey realms, the Land of Winter is relatively wild and remote. There are a few isolated villages throughout places, but Frostvale here is by far the largest settlement. And on occasion, it becomes necessary to find entertainment, as that can be difficult to come by. It's one of the reasons why we hold so many festivals, and he spends an exorbitant amount of money on things like the arena and the arts scene here in the city, as a way to keep the spark alive, so to speak. Keep the wonder going. And so any new individual, or anything new really entirely to the city, is generally met with a great deal of enthusiasm, particularly by his lordship. So, Naturally, as soon as he heard that there were foreigners who had taken up in coming to the arena, he was quite interested in seeing you for himself.
Is it common to garner the attention of the prince?
No, actually. The last time he deigned to come to this little place, oh goodness, that would have been nearly a decade ago. I must say, you're quite lucky that you did not disappoint.
And what should happen if you disappoint him?
Well, let's just say His Majesty can invest a great deal of influence and effort into things that spark his interest, and will continue to be a wonderful benefactor and patron, so long as you continue to spark his interest. Once he becomes bored, then you can find your fortunes change quite quickly. He's rather capricious that way.
And what must one do to gain an audience with His Majesty?
Well, normally that would be quite a task. But given the fact that you are who you are, I imagine if you were to show up at his villa, he might well give you an audience. Long story short, though, I don't imagine you would have to wait long, as I'm quite surprised he hasn't already summoned you himself.
Intriguing. Well, what are your other listings for fights today?
Well, we've built up quite considerably, and considering your dazzling display yesterday, unfortunately that would put you near the higher end of our list of spectacles. So I can't say that I would have much that would meet your talent, other than, of course, the friends, the frost giant individuals I mentioned. There is, however, one other thing you could perhaps do, as I have been searching for some time for an individual or group to take on a very interesting find, a monster. But most people, largely due to its fearsome reputation, are reluctant to take it on.
And how fantastical is this beast?
Well, I believe you have them in the prime material. They certainly make their way here. This one was also, in fact, from the prime material, and unfortunately got caught here when it was younger through a Faygate in the winter. We've done our best to keep it fed while it grew, and it has gotten to the point where it has, well, it's quite thrived, really. And unfortunately, it has grown so large, we need to either deal with it or let it loose. It's something we are loath to do.
I'll look over at, like, Zal, because, again, Yandere / Reggie's experience in the Prime. Reggie may have more of an idea, but, like, it's like, what do you think it is?
Oh, I found it in the winter?
It was young, but it's grown, and it's... And Reggie will turn back and just be like, do you have a dragon?
Pure as the driven snow.
A white one.
Yes. Fully grown. I must admit. So you see my need to find someone willing to fight it,
Oh, those things are
and my
mean.
reluctance to simply let it go.
Fully grown would be adult.
Yeah.
Those things are mean and stupid.
Turning back to us all, I'm just like, we can attempt to go speak to Prince Frost. I think with his need to be entertained, we may be sent back to the arena to garner some additional favor and insight. What are your thoughts?
If we need to prove our point to him by killing something else, I'm all for it. Still kind of short a person, but my dragon's not the hardest thing we could find.
Caleb?
Would definitely gain his favor.
I know Volred doesn't tend to want to get himself dirty, but having a dragon under his belt might be favorable in boasting his own confidence, even though he doesn't need it. Let's say this. We will venture to the prince's villa, see if we can garner audience with him. How long before you can get the dragon prepared?
But the dragon is down in the kennels. It could be prepared any time. As, well, he's quite eager to have this done, as he is told that when he fights, if he wins, he gets to go free.
Interesting.
So he's highly motivated.
Understood. Hold that thought, and we will be back. And I'll look over at the rest of the group and be like, let's pay a visit to the villa, shall we?
Leisurely stroll through the winter villa.
Before we leave, where is said villa?
Deb looks at you. It points off. It's like the center of the city. It's the largest building.
You never know. Sometimes they may like to have a little private getaway, have some places that they want to stay, and if I should intrude on the Royal Highness's grounds without them being there, it might spark the wrong intention.
Ah, indeed. I understand. But, I suppose for your own edification, Lord Frost is, strictly forbidden from wandering more than a day's travel from the city. He's bound here, you see, so that's not really an option.
Interesting. Thank you for that. We'll be back.
Good luck.
All right. So I would assume we would start heading towards the villa.
As we're heading that direction, I'm going to lean over to Red. So, what are you trying to find a dragon?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, you checked out. Yeah, he have a white dragon.
All of us. My
Yeah. Me and you included.
I thought we were supposed to be out of the sight of many.
Just an offer. It's not something that we have to take, but
Great.
we might have to depending
I like that. Something we might not have to take, but then we might have to take it.
I only heard the first part of your sentence. Feeling wonderful.
Great, because we put your name down on the docket.
We ride at dawn.
We don't have any.
Not really.
It's a white one. Those things are so, like, at least it's not fire.
They're fluffy.
No, no.
Yeah, not fluffy.
Completely filled with sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Just saying.
Yandere
I've
doesn't.
Okay.
I've heard
Well,
that the
you
whites
you
could
should
be
know better.
belligerent
That
and
doesn't work on
stupid.
me.
The whites could be belligerent and stupid. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
At least the green one was definitely on the higher end of intelligence.
Yeah. The poison fucked you up for days.
I felt fine. To the villa.
Okay.
The villa.
Let's see. So, you leave the Frostguard garrison, heading west, into Icicle Heights. I believe Calum and Volred had a quick look-see in this area. It's kind of these large, kind of dark stone Gothic buildings, 3 and 4 stories high, very steep. The kind of slate-tiled buildings, meant to look like really a high-end kind of castle town. Flagstone floors and streets, some cobble along the pathway. There are crystal lanterns. There are a number of winter trees and flowers. Fountains, some of which are completely frozen over and continue to shimmer like diamond as you go by, plus a number of really high-end shops. You pass one that is like this circular kind of tower-like building that's windows 360 degrees. That's kind of stuffed with all these kinds of really high-end luxury goods. And you see kind of this dark oak kind of sign with kind of silver filigree that just says the Enchanted Flurry. And then as you make into the central courtyard, kind of an inner wall, there is a bit of a bailey where you see the Frost Hall, a single large castle-like structure built with a number of towers and smaller buildings that just kind of rise really high, hundreds of feet into the sky. You recall seeing its silhouette in the far distance as you guys were approaching the city. Surprisingly enough, though, as you kind of make your way to the gates of the Frost Hall, none of the guards seem to stop you. A number of them kind of take notice of you, but make no mention to slow your progress or impede your progress.
I think they know we were coming.
It would appear so. Still, let's be vigilant. And I would keep going.
Okay. So, you navigate through a kind of a labyrinth network of these kind of really dark, baroque interiors of the Frost Hall before making your way towards the back with a rather large kind of hall, like a throne room, where you can actually see the Prince of Frost above a throne, is a high-backed throne, as if carved from a single solid block of ice, and like a thin layer of snow that seems to cover, almost kind of like a highlight. And a soft kind of powder slowly starts to drift down from the ceiling, kind of like Harry Potter and the Hogwarts feast hall at winter, and a number of what look to be noble type figures in kind of large overdone wardrobe are kind of clamoring around the area, making what appears to be sensical or nonsensical talk, as the Prince of Frost is just kind of boredly kind of glazed over in absolute boredom.
You ready? And Reggie will just walk up and bow and, Your Highness.
As you kind of bow and gesture, he kind of glances over. Goes, yes. Excellent. Kedwin, cancel that missive. It appears they've come to me. Well, you must be... I don't know what the phrase is. The burning or stinging of the ears? Psychic? I'm not really sure. What exactly is the phrase in the prime material?
That's a good question. And I'll look over at Caleb.
Well, makes no matter.
Ears are burning.
Yes, of course. Ears are burning, frost-tipped of the nose. Still, it seems as though you've come to answer my summons, even before it managed to arrive you. Now that is loyalty, and I appreciate that. Not keeping me waiting. People around here keep me waiting far too much.
And Reggie looks back, making sure that his face is completely away from the prince, and is like, fuck. As we have arrived before your missive, what pertail is the summons that you were looking to achieve? We're intrigued in meeting your delight.
Someone who knows how to speak to a member of a Fey court, and kind of glancing over you. Forgive me, you don't appear to be one of my subjects. You simply don't look depressed enough.
Fortunately, I've been in the Prime long enough to have access to certain things.
Like sunlight, I imagine. Yes, I'm told it does wonders for the body and the complexion. Well, in any case, yes, I suppose we should have a bit of conversation, though I don't think this is the best place to hold it. And then you hear kind of another individual, kind of like a fox Therian trope. Your lordship, I'll buzz off. Court is cancelled today. I'm not hearing any requests. I have some new toys I'd like to play with. So, follow me.
I basically am just like, I'm walking, but I also look over at Volred, and I'm just like, toys? Is that some royal humor?
No, it's royal fact. Come now, we must follow.
Yeah, Volred's kind of people.
To the nearest stairwell. A royal stairwell.
Well, the weird thing is that here in the Feywild, people might actually find that kind of thing charming. It's like, oh, this is delightful.
We're doing this today.
And I mean, I would assume we follow.
Yes. So as you, what the, as you follow, you're taken into a side room, right off the throne room, which appears to be kind of like a reception type room. There is a large hearth that dominates one wall, and kind of surrounding it is a bit of a lounge area. And on the far side of the room is kind of a dining table. The two sections of the room are kind of cut in half by this long kind of velvet carpet that leads to a door directly opposite where you guys are at. But the prince kind of strolls in, gestures to the seating area around the hearth, and goes, Kedwin, tea? Tea? Snacks? Yes, tea. Bring us tea. And some of those little raspberry tarts that I love so much, but go a little easy on the sugar. And then kind of bowing a little bit and figure leaves. He allows you guys to sit on the sofas as he takes kind of the armchair in the middle. And as he's kind of looking around, taking each of you in. My, you are less impressive up close.
We garner most of our capabilities in combat.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate, but still. Now, the reason why I have, of course, summoned you here, as you would certainly know, is that you are new to my realm. And while my guards seem to report that you're only here for a short time, you certainly seem to have made it a very interesting time thus far. Still, I serve the supreme queen of this area, as I am only really a prince in that regard. And so I am quite curious why your group has come to the realm of winter. Of all the Fey realms, it is one of the least traveled to. My understanding is we have a bit of a reputation in the prime material.
Well, you do. Yes.
Well, I would appreciate a moment to explain my vacation here. You see, Prince, I am of nobility from my area. I quite like the approach you have, and I'm taking tips to bring back home. You see, as I walked into this room, I thought myself, wow, if only I could have such a nice setup as this. I'm on vacation. That's it.
Roll me a deception.
Eight.
The prince, well, I would warn you that while the realm of winter is entirely duplicitous, things are typically covered. Illusion. Things aren't exactly what they seem. So, if you wish to cover lies with truth, or cover truth with lies, you're going to have to do a lot better at concealing your true intentions if you're going to survive here. And seeing as how this is our first meet, and you have already lied to me on my first question, that does not bode well to you. I don't, of course, have any issue with you lying, but lie better. So, someone with more skill.
Noble. And that's a fact.
And he's kind of gesturing. I mean, don't feel bad. I mean, this guy's a Fae and he got a 27 on his insight. So,
Ouch.
yeah, with your bonus, I don't think you were gonna lie to him with the roll I got. So, kind of glancing around. So, who else is next?
Well, fortunately, he didn't lie about the nobility part. But, to be quite honest with you, we're here for information.
Kind of looking at you. It's a half-truth, but a truth nonetheless. What sort of information are you looking for?
Locations, items, trinkets, artifacts, places of interest.
What sort of places? What sort of trinkets? Perhaps I can help. I am one of the oldest archfey in this realm. There's not a whole lot about it that I don't. Or that I have not witnessed or ventured to myself.
But you also don't seem kind of like the person who would just willingly give that information up. I know that the Court of Winter is a slew of information and also a little more duplicitous than just revealing your hand up front. You know that I'm here for information. What is that information going to cost me?
Well, I suppose the cost... It's not the direct cost you should be worried about. It's the cost of procuring what it is I require. And that is amusement. No doubt you are at least somewhat aware by now of my particular predicament. And you know where my loyalties lie. So, it would be very troublesome if I were to have to report some rather unusual visitors to my realm, to Her Majesty, for several reasons. One is, if you are in fact exactly what you say, then I will have alerted Her Majesty for no reason. That would not bear well for me. But if you are who you say you are, or at least if you are who I think you are, then if I let you go free, there is also the possibility that I might get in trouble by not stopping you. But if I let you go on, you could die. And then I don't get to have any fun. I could also report you, and then I also wouldn't get to have any fun.
So we're of use to you.
I think you have the potential of being useful to me.
That's fair. Let's just view ourselves as shiny new toys, as you put it. But toys of merit. You already know that we know of your dragon predicament. Things don't get by you very quickly.
Oh, yes. Sylvaris' little pet. I mean, don't get me wrong. I certainly was quite amused when it first arrived, and I have taken exceptional joy in watching it eat people over the years. But unfortunately, it has grown too large and too good at what it does, and so no one will challenge the damn thing. So,
a challenge, said victory, garners us information and location of an artifact. You get your entertainment, we get our information, we're of use to you and your city, we bode well.
And your discretion.
Should we lose, you no longer have to report anything to your superior. matter of fact, you might be able to report. You can report to your superior, and should we be who you think we are, and you were able to get rid of us, might bode well, even better for you. Might even raise your status.
Politics, then.
Always politics.
I loathe politics. I have a better idea. Kill the dragon, don't kill the dragon. I don't really care. Even if it gets released and wreaks havoc, well, that is its own form of entertainment. However, you might be able to make killing the dragon be to your benefit. And perhaps there are some artifacts I could recommend you have a look at. Or perhaps you might be willing to help me with a few things. With the understanding that it would be in your best interest to help me as well.
Only caveat to that is as long as it benefits our end goal, then yes.
Very well. But in order for this to be fun, then we can look at it as a bit of a scavenger hunt. Only the twist is, well, you don't necessarily know what it is you're going to be looking for until it's time for me to give you the next item. And you may not necessarily know how this item or the journey that I send you on will be of benefit. There's a degree of trust.
But it will be of benefit. That was the one caveat on my side. You have power over most everything else. But to make sure that it is somewhat fair and somewhat equal for us to take on this additional work for you, it does have to benefit our end result.
Very well. I suppose we could come to some kind of an agreement. And there are a couple questions I would need to be answered before we can do that. As you know, I am bound by a number of oaths that I cannot willingly do anything that would, or not really anything, period, to go against my mistress. So, in that regard, I must know for certain that your goals here are not to harm Her Majesty in any way, or to sow discord in the wider Winter Realm.
I can promise you that I have no intent of harming Your Majesty, and my intention is to restore balance.
Well, while you may be fair, you have not been around as long as I have. If you're going to play devils in the details, you should be very careful not to enunciate or emphasize certain words, such as saying, "You are not." It gives away your gambit. So, in this instance, your group does the work that that your group is here to perform. Do you foresee it being a harm to Her Majesty?
No.
The work that you are here to do, is it your intention to sow discord throughout the realm so as to weaken Her Majesty's position here?
No.
Very well. I've got the answers I need. Now, just to make sure that I'm sending you on the right sort of goose chase, I suppose you are interested in a certain location?
Henceforth, where the information is needed.
Indeed. And ultimately, your final goal is to obtain something that is perhaps locked away?
Correct.
Well, in which case, I might recommend, if you're interested for points of interest on your vacation, that is, to travel to an interesting place that you might find of value, and retrieve something for me there. Far to the east of here in the shimmering expanse, near the glacier, there is the ruins of a giant fortress that is built into the glacier. From my understanding, the giants there have not taken up residence for quite some time. And the ruin, or at least the tomb, of their greatest giant king, who was well renowned as a builder of sorts. His tomb lies there. I desire his crown. If you make it there and manage to retrieve it, I think you will find at least something you're looking for.
Interesting. So, simply get to the ruins of the giant and find the crown of the giant king.
Mm-hmm.
In lieu of our conversation of garnering some additional trust, why haven't you sent anybody from your own court to retrieve that?
Oh, mostly because I've just recently decided that I want it, and you're now here. That and the fact you're strong enough to take on some frost giants, or at least I presume you haven't actually fought any yet. But if you've managed to slay the Frostgale Hydra, then you should be able to handle any sort of dangerous beasts that lie in the Shimmering Expanse. It's dangerous territory, filled with frost giants and yetis and other such creatures.
One of the perils of having really loud keyboard is I can't talk and type at the same time without there being a whole bunch of clicking. So I'm taking notes. But so the journey itself is treacherous, but should be doable by some of us who are able to take on the Frost Hydra.
Indeed.
Are there any particular dangers that you're aware of that we should be on the lookout for? Sans giants and others of the like that you mentioned previously.
I don't know, actually. But if you're interested in finding out a little more about the history of that place, in the Frigid Muse, there is a place called the Crystal Spire. It's a public library, so it's collates a number of informations on topics. I am told that they have a rare collection of books there, nearly as old as, Frostfell. and you might find a variety of passages in those books that could illuminate various aspects of the ruins, the surrounding areas, and other dangers to be aware of.
So the Crystal Spire in the Frigid Muse.
Indeed.
Interesting. Caleb, do you have any particular interest in books?
You're being facetious. Of course.
Slightly, but still it would require some adept reading and some understanding of knowledge and lore, and I feel that you would be the best person to take that on should we go and visit this location. So I don't want to forcibly use your talents without consulting you first.
I appreciate that. Yes, I have interest in
Is all. They mentioned this is going to be the tomb of some frost giants, and you have a particular proclivity towards frost giants. Is this something that you would be interested in partaking?
And if we're fighting them here or fighting them there, I'm all for it.
Red? Care for another leg of your vacation?
Yes, that's primarily why I'm here. And for entertainment.
I would assume this is probably right up your alley then.
I'm but a toy.
And I look over at Kelmac and he's just on the ground at this point.
Yeah, he's just like...
He's a body.
Great. What other stipulations do you have for this journey? Or are there any others?
Quite as simple as that. Head to the ruins, find the Jarl's crown, and bring it back to me. Simple enough, right?
Simple enough.
paper.
Great. Well, there is one other thing. Assuming that this venture is going to take some additional time, we did tell the person who is currently providing such a hospitable space that we were only going to be here for 5 days. And being that that information most likely has to be reported to you,
This is that you're on your 4th day. Well, not since joining the entering the city, but
I would imagine we would need some form of extension. Probably open-ended. I just don't want to get him in trouble.
oh well. Draft a letter.
Thought we were in private.
But we are. That's probably why he's not responding. Oh well, I'll yell at him later.
And also, when we return, I would like to not be griefed by your guards upon entrance. I say we've already paid our dues to enter into the city and would like to not have to pay them again.
Oh, I see. You would like an entitlement.
Essentially. Just while we temporarily take care of some errands.
Very well, I suppose.
That was all that I would ask of you.
Indeed. No sense in winding up my toys until I'm, well, ready to use them.
Again, glad to be of service.
All right, well, I'll have Cadwin draft a letter and bring you some emblems that, and have them delivered to your resting place, sleeping tavern in location, and then you'll be ready to go.
Fantastic. Well, we shall be taking our leave, unless there's anything else that you have questions for or would like to entertain the prince with. I look over at the rest of the group.
So we're not fighting the dragon, or is that like later?
That's up to you. I said, fight the dragon, don't fight the dragon. I don't really care. Sylvaris handles all of that. I just come and view the fights.
Okay, so later. Okay.
Let's make it back and then have a go at the dragon.
I'm starting to see the relationship here. Your friend here, the nobleman, appears to be the one on vacation. The dwarf woman appears to be the bodyguard. Your frizzy mustache and bearded man over here appears to be the one who does the tour guides type knowledge information. And you, sir, pointing to Yandere, appear to be the travel agent.
Only the finest of destinations.
And then he kind of like looks over to Kelmac. And he must be the drunk friend that got pulled into the wedding or into the trip even though he really didn't want to go.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Damn, he's good.
Very accurate, actually.
Well, I've been around a few thousand years, so you pick up a thing or two.
Ooh, Disney.
I do have a question for you.
Very well.
I hear that you are confined to this space, but you haven't always been. Go ahead.
Yandere, you spot, just kind of like as that question starts to come out, the faintest kind of in the prince's, the little tick, momentary glimpse, and you're like, okay, you instantly know your group is now treading on thin ice. And let me see here.
I have a purpose.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I'm like quickly listening, like just like my eyes like jolt over to Caleb real quick.
Oh, I know. I'm just sitting here saying, unfortunately, like Caleb's passive perception and insight is not good enough to have noticed that he's probably walking out somewhere he shouldn't be. But yeah, so you're inquiring.
I'm wondering. Well, ultimately, I want to find out if there's something, a place that he like to go. If there's something I can get from there as a token. A place that he likes to go, but he can't go anymore.
You see him kind of think for a moment. And yonder, you can kind of see the kind of anger pull back a little bit. Well, not necessarily here, but I once went to the Prime Material on a regular basis. And there was a place I enjoyed traveling from time to time. And unfortunately, I'm no longer able to go there. I couldn't really tell you what the name of the place is. Only that it was a place that I enjoyed visiting.
And I'm like Yandere slash Reggie is like kind of like nods his head to see if it looks like the prince is going to tell any more information about the place, or if it's just
No,
like
you see he kind of trails off and his eyes kind of break and kind of look wistfully outwards as if kind of memories are kind of flooding back a little bit. And you can kind of sense a little bit of sadness and melancholy. Also, there's that little bit of anger that kind of floods back in there. You're assuming that he's kind of remembering an event that happened a long time ago. That has a very complicated mix of emotions attached to it.
So Yandere will pause briefly just to see if the prince does snap back and relinquish any additional information. If it looks like the prince is not going to do that, then Yandere will say something, but I'm going to give him an opportunity.
Yeah, about the time you go to kind of speak up, the prince kind of snaps back. Well, if that is all, I have grown bored. So, enjoy the remainder of the tea and the raspberry tarts, and I look forward to having my crown.
Thank you.
Good day. And he kind of gets up and then goes, Kedwin! Kedwin! And the door kind of opens up and the footman kind of comes in, and there's a process of him, yelling, giving orders, note, badge, whatever, get these guys out of here.
All right, and
So
Yandere would leave.
Caleb will follow.
Stay here for weeks, I guess, or I'll follow Caleb.
Okay, all right. So, you guys are kind of quickly and unceremoniously kind of thrust, kind of ushered out to the Frost Hall, and find yourself back in the Icicle Heights. And we should actually go ahead and take a break now.
Break time.
Break time!
15
Hell
minutes.
yeah.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Kill everyone?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I could try that, but some people didn't follow my request to put GIFs.
I fixed
In
the
the-
audio.
About time.
Shit.
Right now, Caleb, you are lucky that he is not the dungeon master.
Not my finest moment after I met friends over the weekend who said they like to watch our show on the background. I said, well, good luck. It's silent the first hour.
Whoa! People actually watch our show?
Yeah, we got rated by
Or is
15.
it like a YouTube thing?
We got rated by 15 people like an hour ago. I didn't want to bring it up. I was like, oh, thank God we're not going to break right now, because it was like 5 minutes beforehand.
Well, it's funny because I actually almost made that joke when we were leaving so late. It's like, yeah, at least, we're not breaking at the normal time, so that whatever. But I don't know. Yeah. Because I try not to keep it up. But, realistically, this computer with this internet could probably run the stream. You know what? We're not even going to worry about that.
Welcome to try,
because,
Eric.
Because then that means I'm just talking about I could look at chat and shit and shitpost and chat while I'm trying to run the game.
You already
So,
posted a thing earlier while someone else, while the players were talking. You posted a picture like, bad Eric. You're a bad influence on you.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal: is I would love us to have more art. And for those of you who aren't aware of what we're talking about, I went and used Midjourney to generate really crude, primitive drawings of a man with a deer head to say, this is what you see. Oh, no, they were bad. They were nightmare fuel. Yeah, so hey guys, welcome back. Unfortunately, Red is going to be on autopilot at the moment because of, well, not so sudden illness. Unfortunately, Rab was a trooper with us as much as he could, but yeah, got to take care of ourselves.
Any random wild animals for him to shoot or unconscious people, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so like, it's almost kind of like Kelmac is fake hungover, and Rab is like real hungover, even though he's not really. You know, it doesn't matter. The point is, you guys have some stuff that you would like to do. The Silver Knights of the Mythal. Yep, that's the right one.
We go back to our
Since
room,
when do
I
we
guess?
actually like to do stuff?
Since we made it to the Feywild.
That's fine.
Well, hey, here's the thing. This right here, here's another way of looking at it. This is the prime fuel group. The guys that go and get shit done.
G Fuel.
Yeah. Guys plus girl that get stuff done. You know?
That's a weird.
You guys are the
title.
plot movers.
And
Caleb's like,
then there were
not my plot point.
a dwarf, an elf, and a human.
Walk into a
Oh my god, yes! Oh. Okay. Never mind. Let's not get into that.
What was that?
All right. So we're leaving the villa, correct?
Yeah, I mean I say villa, it's more of a palace, but yes, the Frost Hall. And yeah, you guys are back in Icicle Heights. You guys were told about the Crystal Spire, which apparently is a library type area in the Frigid Muse that apparently has a collection of really old books.
Correct. And I would know exactly where that was if I had a map that I don't have.
Flash the map real quick. Like,
Okay, well, here's the thing. So this is the map of winter, right? And then this, which you can't
it's
really
screened out.
see.
Good
But-
job, Discord.
There's a small map, but it doesn't have any points of interest on it. It just lays out the boroughs. So
Yes, because we decided that winter is New York. It's just in different boroughs.
yes, I mean, I've never like actually been to New York. I mean, I did a long layover at LAX, some of like the worst day and a half of my life. But
That's California.
Yeah, that's like in California. That's not even. You
no,
know,
LAX. Yeah,
It's the opposite.
JFK.
coast.
It's JFK. Yeah, it's a JFK.
California.
I have been to LAX too, though.
We'll play D&D
So-
eventually.
right. Okay, so we are now leaving.
This
the
is
house.
the dungeon master needing to leave his house more than once or twice a week.
Yes, you should.
You know, the joys of having a work from home job.
Yep. Thankfully, I have kids that help me get out of the house.
Is that Sean's map, please, face?
Let's carry on.
Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it.
Carry on, my wayward dungeon master.
We know he took his medicine, so it's his excuse.
Once we got through RP and plot or exposition,
Oh no.
my ADD is wore off this
I
season.
don't know if we'll get copyrighted, but please stop.
I changed the words.
Well, the word.
Anyway, yeah, so you guys were heading to the Crystal Spire.
Well, no, we're headed back to the the place that we stay because we
Snowbound Rest.
we need to get the pendant and stuff that the Prince of
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys are going to handle that first, yes. As you guys head there, within about an hour or so, there is a knock at the door. You guys are provided, one of those nice kind of cases that you open, and you see these small kind of lapel pin type badges that are really quite nice. They sit on like a really light blue stone that's like coin size with a really elegantly done snowflake in silver or mithril, you're not entirely sure, on top. But nonetheless, you guys have seen bearing the insignia of Prince Frost. And then you're also informed that your proprietor, the innkeeper, has been informed that you are now here as guests of the Lord. And you've been informed all of that has been smoothed over.
Great.
Yeah, with a reminder that that doesn't give you license to violate the law.
Yet.
Within reason.
Yeah, maybe. But the idea is it's kind of like reinforcing that he's willing to give you, his toys a little bit of space. But if you cause problems for him, he'll yank that leash.
The law, like Volred's sister, is flexible.
He's all would know.
You probably should have said your next door neighbor, the yoga instructor.
Well, I assume that's why she's flexible. They probably do classes together. Y'all nasty.
You scamp.
I have a girlfriend.
You're a scamper.
Anyway.
Great. So I would ask our proprietor if he knows how to get to the Frigid Muse from here, because we would need that information. Obviously, we just need to kind of generally think about like where we're going to go, and we will eventually get there. But because this is the Court of Winter, we do not want to dilly-dally in winter too long. So the quickest way would be the best.
Yeah. And
As the frost
and
crow flies.
yes, he kind of points out that in the Frigid Muse, which lies on the western end of the city, the Crystal Spire is Crystal Spire. It's a large tower structure, by far the largest in the borough, and it is made entirely of ice, and kind of points out you can actually see the top of it. And he said, basically, if you just take, this road down, a couple intersections, hang a right, and follow it along, it'll take you really all the way there.
All right. Well, I would assume at that point we would be ready to make our little venture. But I will double check with these all, Kalen and Volred, and then Kelmec, who is just kind of trudging along.
Can we try to find potions?
Do you need potions?
We're about to go fight a bunch of frost giants, and they hit like a truck.
I wouldn't know.
Well, stone giants
I would've
hit like
thought.
a truck. Frost giants hit like a truck that has a snow plow like attached to it. It's cold.
And I would need to try to find a reliquary worth 500 gold. So I don't know where that specific thing is going to be found, but I can at least try.
Cleric.
I could at least try. So shopping would probably be the best bet, DM, if there's specific locations that that would help us locate those items.
That's fine. Let's see here. Well, I guess we'll go through. So you guys are looking for that kind of stuff. So there's the Winter Market, which lies in the Shivered Timbers. That basically just has a lot of just about everything. There is also in the Frigid Muse, there is a place called the Arcane Frostcape, which, from what you could tell, sells mostly like spellcastery type things, but does seem to have a collection of spell scrolls, potions, that sort of thing. It also looked like that place that you guys passed in Icicle Heights, the Enchanted Flurry. That place looks like it specialized in magical wares. So those are a couple places you could think of right off the bat that probably would have what you guys need.
So the Enchanted Flurry was the last one you said?
Yeah, the Enchanted Flurry. That was the place that was 360 windows that was right over by Lord Frost's place. And then the Arcane Frostcape was in the Frigid Muse. And then the other one was the Winter Market, which is in the Shivered Timbers. It's like the main market for the city.
Can we divide up the 5,000 gold?
We have not. It's still in the bag of holding. Maybe 1,000 apiece, right? Well, no. There was only 3 of us.
What? Cool. This is way better.
Well, they got...
agree with that.
You've got 3,000 gold off of betting off of us.
That's what I said. I'm definitely like. I made the bet. Y'all got the prize money.
I'm just gonna spend it anyway, so. So 5,000 divided by 3.
Awesome. How much is it? Let's start your calculator.
Yeah, it's 1,666 gold pieces and 6.7. Yeah, 6.7. Probably like silver or copper. Silver.
It's like 6 silver and 6 copper.
Yeah.
And then there's a copper left over.
Kelmac can have that.
The tip. Ooh, almost put Electrum in here. That would have been bad. Okay. If we're going to face against frost giants, I know you have resistance to cold weather, but resistance to cold itself could be very helpful. So I would like to try to see if I can find some potions of cold resistance. Also for that dragon I want to find.
Oh, I do want to clarify that 5,000 gold was in frost gold bars. So we don't have like coins, they're actually like bars.
So it is, a bar is 50?
Mm-hmm.
So you have 150 gold bars. Correct? You add a decimal twice, makes it 100, making it 5,000.
Let's go with that. I don't think that's right though.
Well, let's see here. At 5,000 gold, at 50 gold a bar, that's 100 bars.
Sounds right.
So 33 each with 1 bar left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was right. And I can take that out of my bag of holding.
33 bars apiece with 1 bar remaining.
Come, I can have that extra bar.
That bastard.
You're fine.
Okay. Alright.
And then, what do you want me to do with Caleb? What do you want me to do with your haul that's in my bag of holding? That looks like it's actually like 3,000 gold pieces. It's not actually accumulated in bars.
I need to get it back.
We can find something at either the Arcane Frostscape or the what is it? Enchanted Flurry.
Yeah, I just dumped the major POIs for you.
But yes, we can go and see if we can acquire me a bag of holding. That way, you aren't sad. Then you will.
Cool. All right. So off we go. The closest place would probably be the Enchanted Flurry, right? Because we're in the Icicle Heights. Well, we were coming back from what's his faces, the Frost Hall.
Yeah.
We're in the Shivered Timbers right now, though.
Um.
Thawing Quarter.
Yeah, is where the Snowbound Rest is.
Okay. So which place would be closest? The Icicle Heights, the Frigid Muse?
From where you're at, they're kind of the same way. The Icicle Heights, I'm updating the notes here to show like roughly where they are. But the Icicle Heights is in the center, the Thawing Quarter is in the south, and the Frigid Muse is in the west. Because the whole city is essentially 2 concentric circles.
Okay.
Really 3, but borough-wise.
Okay. So it'd probably be easier to go to the Icicle Heights and do the Enchanted Flurry then. Because it's in the center, and then we can just make our way.
Yeah.
So, to the Enchanted Flurry.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go now freeze our butts off in the cold weather. Least.
It's my favorite direction. As we're walking to the Enchanted Flurry, I'll turn over to Azal and just be like, so, Frost Giants.
Yeah.
You have some experience with them, correct?
Uh-huh. Tall, hairy, cold.
Well, being that we're getting ready to go into like a Frost Giant ruin, what should we be prepared for?
They generate like cold air around them. Whatever the temperature it is, it's generally a lot colder. Like as you get closer to them, they're a lot like the white dragons in that way. They make everything just generally worse. They hit very hard.
When you say very hard, like, are we talking like
I cast minor illusion, and I make the image of myself and the stone giant throwing the boulder, and it's kind of like, doot, 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 and it hits me like way worse than that.
Well, I wasn't there for that. If you were,
Well, imagine stone giant, big giant boulder getting hit with it. It hurts a lot.
He's all. Let me fix that for you so that
Don't
you
know
have
with
a better
me.
understanding. And I'm going to use major.
Oh, you bitch! You saucy bastard!
You are gonna pop off a major image as you guys are walking down the street.
Well, it's not going to be massive. It's going to be just.
He was just a walking down the street,
It's
casting
just going to
major
be
image, rah 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 dead.
It's going to be a much clearer version of what he's all just tried to do.
Okay,
Just to show her
you
up.
better show the part where I beat the stone giant, though. If you're gonna do that.
Yeah, it's going to be exaggerated as all get out, and like he's all kicking the shit out of it.
So there's potential for survivability, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're one of the smarter of the giants that I could read about. It's just they control their environment a lot better than any of the lower ones below them. And it being cold already, it's already gonna suck. They're not well known for magic, but everything they do is like infused with ice, so it generally sucks altogether.
So you would say they're vulnerable to fire.
I would say no more than a white dragon would be. We don't know much vulnerability. Primarily, the fire we kept around us was just to keep us warm, because being around them was so fucking cold. I don't know if they really have a vulnerability other than big. They're big and they're not as quick.
So just hit them, and hit them hard.
Yeah, it's a dumbed down way of doing it, but that's kind of... If you could use the terrain to your advantage more than they could, that'd be great, but... I mean, you're in their home field advantage. It's gonna suck.
Well, that gives me a mild level of solace, at least. But you seem very confident in fighting them, so I'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
Caleb, obviously that extends to you. Volred, I expect not to be close enough to hit anything. Well, for them to hit him. But you said the stone giants were throwing literal stones at you.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be good to assume that these frost giants would be able to hurl icicles or snowballs or...
They will have a ranged projectile, whether they have it readily at hand or not.
Interesting. Fair. Well, I think I see the Enchanted Flurry up ahead. And we're looking for potions for you.
Yeah, just to supplement the cold.
In your books or anything, because you mentioned one of your grandfathers, like far down the line, used to be a cleric as well.
Oh, my grandfather was a cleric.
Did he happen to mention anything about a reliquary? And how rare they are, perchance?
Most of the very specific spell thingies that he would ever use, he wasn't part of a very popular religion, so it wasn't like he could go and find one. But he had only the paladin who was with him, who could create just items, and as long as he could have enough like holy power with it and enough monetary value, it was more of a cost and thought kind of thing with that. So I don't... religions are weird. It just depends.
Right. As we are like talking through that, I would imagine we're probably approaching the entrance to the Enchanted Flurry.
Mm-hmm. So, as you guys had seen previously, the Enchanted Flurry is this large kind of tower of a building with 360-degree windows that are kind of painted like a deep red. Well, not the windows, but the trim of the windows. And has 4 entrances at its cardinal locations, each with these kinds of heavy kind of fabric awnings with guards posted out front. And you guys can kind of walk into this somewhat cramped location, but there are multiple stories with kind of surrounding like display cases and numerous bookshelves that have kind of locked glass doors on them. Even in the immediate area, you can see like sylvan runes kind of written along the edges, leading to believe that the goods here are magically protected. On the bottom floor, there is a large donut-shaped counter, which seems to serve as like the cash wrap location for checking out. But the cabinets and desks themselves have numerous display cases that seem to show vials of different colors and mixtures. There's another one that has a bit of like an apothecary chest set up, and then another one that has it almost kind of looks like wine racks, those kind of diamond shapes, but they're filled with scrolls. And you can see a locked cabinet underneath it. You can see has like some books kind of shoved in there. Just some of those kind of smaller items that, are probably high shrink, and so they stay up there at the register.
All I can think of is forever -21.
Yeah, I would probably see that. But as you make your way in, you are first greeted by a woman, Eladrin, with this kind of long, kind of really dark raven black hair that looks as though she's had like streaks of what actually kind of looks like faux snow that have been kind of run along it to make it almost look like she has a permanent, slightly snowed on look. And she bears this kind of really large set of white robes with white fur trim. Quite beautiful looking. But as she kind of makes her way in, she kind of just says, welcome. In Sylvan, anyway. My name's Chrysalis Frostwind, and I'm the proprietor here. Is there something I can help you find?
Look over at us all to go first.
No, what?
I think our friend here is trying to look for some potions. Do you know the
that kind of
common tongue?
She goes, yes,
Like, it was
apologies.
insulting. I have no idea what she said.
Yeah, apologies. I mistook your friend from somewhere near south, in the Frostbloom Valley.
Much appreciated. No, with us all.
So, my understanding is you're looking for some potions.
Yeah, we're about to go venturing out into some cold areas, and some potions that will help us against the harsh wintry weather would be good. Resist the cold.
Very well. Yes, that's perfectly fine. I carry a variety of objects, potions, scrolls, books, as well as a collection of magical items, and that does include some winter apparel and some accessories. Are you looking specifically for something to stave off any damage or harm that might come to you due to cold?
I'm looking for something that'd be more specific against harmful cold being targeted directly at me.
You mean like frost magic?
Yeah.
Very well. I do keep a collection of such items. Are you needing something permanent or something temporary vis-a-vis a potion?
I was thinking potions, but I wasn't hurt to think about other options, so.
Well, yes, of course. We can help you out as best we can. Obviously, the potions are going to be cheapest, depending on your individual need. Specifically for cold, we do keep quite a number of those in stock. As you can imagine, they are a bit of a hot commodity here. and we can part with them for about 500 frost gold coins. But if you are willing to purchase multiple, we could discuss a bulk discount.
Mm-hmm. Definitely interested. As far as something more permanent that I don't have to chug, what might have you in that sense?
Well, if that is what you're looking for, and she kind of gestures you as if, please come with me.
Okay.
She kind of takes you over to one of those large kind of stacks of locked shelving cabinets, where you see set up on a little bit of a pedestal is this relatively nice sapphire necklace that appears to be made out of silver, with kind of a pendant on it, with a number of other stones. We have something like this, or if you're wanting something a bit more subdued, she kind of points over next to it, and you can see a small collection of rings.
A nice necklace, though. Is there a difference, or is it just more about presentation?
No, it's more about presentation here, really. As you know, there is only so many rings a person can conceivably wear. And sometimes certain pieces of jewelry might conflict. So we keep a small variety so that no matter what your accoutrement for that evening, we'll be able to get you what you need in a form factor that is suitable for you.
I'm kind of interested in the ring. Don't know if the
Well,
necklace is really something I can pull off.
I understand. Well, the rings are a bit simpler, but as you can tell, they use much less ingredients in their crafting, so they do also tend to be less expensive. And, well, let's be honest, we'll go with a lot more different outfits you might wear. And she kind of reaches over, kind of opens up the cabinet and pulls out kind of the small tray. As you can see, most of them are quite similar. They tend to be silver or mithril bands, have a variety of etchings on them, tend to be a collection of different stones. This one here with the single stone is a pure emerald. You can tell by the dark blue color, and it has a surprising cut and clarity. But any one of these would run about the same price. 5,000 frost gold coins.
It's quite a price.
Yes,
Definitely
but
worth it, though.
oh, of course, of course. Especially considering when you discuss it, it's only maybe tenfold price of a potion, and especially if you plan on spending any time in the area or your adventures go longer than usual, the potions that cost can stack up quite considerably.
Don't know if I can put that much coin towards it, though.
Well, do you have perhaps something you might be willing to barter? If I can flip it and make a profit, I don't mind giving you a good price. After all, I wouldn't want any of the Lord's current favorites to not have the tools they need to do the Lord's work.
I don't really have anything I can give up, though.
I see.
I don't carry a lot with me other than generic weapons. that aren't going to fetch a high price.
I was like, Reggie just like looks at the back of you. Like,
Those are for combat.
Well, I suppose what I could do, I could provide, we'll say, a 10% discount on the ring to start with. That would make the final cost 4,500 cross gold coins. And then, assuming your compatriots here are planning on purchasing something as well, we could increase the total discount based on money spent. Is that something that is amenable?
I wouldn't look to take anything from them, so I'll probably just lean towards getting some potions.
Is all?
It's too expensive.
Yep. How much are you going to spend?
Probably about 1,500 on potions.
And how many potions is that?
3.
So there's 3 different uses.
Yep, but I'm probably not gonna need them. What if I have like an extra one at the end of it?
Yeah.
What if we do this? I understand it's a considerable amount of money in order to let yourself go with. Let us say that if you're willing to pay full price for the ring, I will gift you the 3 potions with no additional charge. Also, I will write in a return policy so that once your work is done, I agree to purchase the ring back from you with a very modest restocking fee.
It's just a lot.
Would you be willing to pay 3,500 for it?
Me? I don't have 2,500. We just won that fight, and that's basically the money I have. So, and I would love to have a ring that protects from cold, but like I'll talk about it once we leave the store, but it's a funny story, but I would much rather have the potions. The ring is nice, but the potions will do with what we need to do.
Okay.
I
Very
appreciate your gracious offer. It was an amazing deal. It's just not something I'm comfortable with doing.
Of course. If you do require any other sort of arrangement, I, of course, will be more than happy to help you all out. So, you said you were interested in 1,500 worth of potions, correct?
Yeah, yep.
Then one
Very
for-
well.
How many do you have in stock? Like, I'm sure I missed that conversation, so I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, all she stated was that she keeps quite a few in stock because they're a high price item or a high value item. She goes, well, at this present moment, I have 12 in stock. I do tend to make them regularly, but most of that goes to his lordship and his retinue. So I know I can come up with that, at least at the present moment. And in that case, let us say buy 3, get 1 free.
I mean, is always going to buy 3 anyway, and I think Caleb only wanted 1. Also, does that deal stand regardless of who's purchasing it, or is it only because Azal was trying to make a deal earlier?
That is fine. It's from you are all acquainted with his lordship, so I intend to treat this as one purchase for that purpose.
Okay. While you're doing that, you'll see that Reggie's looking around trying to find a reliquary.
Okay, so like a religious item.
Yes.
Okay, there are. Is there any particular reliquary you're looking for?
I mean, we're in the Feywild, so I don't know if there is any like autumn Fey, like Archfey stuff in this particular area.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see any that you would immediately recognize. You do see plenty of weird objects that might just be weird objects or might be reliquaries. Yeah, you're not really sure.
It's also based on the
Religion is subjective.
By the way, I'm putting up 500, so he's all in.
Woohoo!
So basically, you're paying Izal back for the potion she got for free.
Yep.
I am gonna find some item that looks like a reliquary. I'm gonna go up and specifically ask, like, how much is this worth?
I'll pay you double. For insurance reasons, I need you to charge me this.
I need you to charge me 500.
Religion is just an insurance scam.
You're just trying to find something that looks like it might be worth 500 coins.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a d20.
Nat 20.
Oh, nat 20. You kind of quickly like point at something in a glass case like that. How much is that? And you see it is like this. It's on a like a two-pronged stand with a silver chain on which seems to have like a small file of some kind that just kind of dangles there, filled with liquid that seems to glow with a faint blue light. Chrysalis kind of looks over and goes, "Oh, well, that is a very interesting item that you've looked at. Well, specifically, that is water from an ancient glacier. High up in the mountains here. Not too many of those remaining, but I'm afraid it has no magical properties that I've been able to ascertain. So it's mostly just a keepsake or for collection. Normally that would sell for around 500 frost gold coins. But I suppose that I could give you a 20% discount."
Yandere being like super, like Reggie being like confused, like on whether or not it has to be 500 gold. He's like, discount, does that go into effect? Black Crom, help me.
Charity.
Black Crom, help me. He actually just takes out the 33. Well, yeah.
They're 50 gold apiece.
I know. You see, I'm struggling here.
10
So I really need
bars
10 bars
is
for that.
500.
No, I also need to buy the 2 potions.
So 15.
15 of the bars.
Right?
Yes. Right? No, 30.
30 bars of the 33.
I need 30. I like literally out of my bag of holding just begin pulling.
Oh my god. Look, because there are 50 apiece, so
Yes, I need 2.
yes.
I will need them to get to 50.
You will need 8 for the water.
But I'm also trying to get 2 potions. So they are 500 apiece, which means I need 1,500, right? Because in total,
Well, you get 20% discount on that, remember? Here, let's take out our trusty friend, Mr. Calculator.
I'm literally, listen, I'm just gonna put 30 frost gold bars up there. You take what you need, and then I'll put the rest back. I'm doing the
Is this enough? Like you're from
That is
here.
20. That is exactly 24 frost gold bars.
fantastic. I put the 30 up there. You take the 24 and leave the 6. I have an intelligence of a 9, so I'm not.
You can count, but you're like, God damn, this exchange rate! It's like the exchange rate is 1 to 1.
Now
I'm
throw
not
in some
doing it.
Electrum in there, really confuse some shit.
It's like I'm not
It's
doing
like,
it.
yeah, it's like he may have graduated Feywild High School, but he did not take home ec or economics or any of that other shit. Cannot balance a checkbook.
At all. All right, cool. So I get 2 of those potions, and what is this called? It's just a reliquary. Can I just
Yeah, you could put it in as a reliquary.
It's a fancy
Yeah.
gravy boat.
what were the potions called again?
They're potions of frost resistance. They should already be, because they're like official items.
Cold resistance.
Yeah, it's potion of resistance is the name.
It's just for cold.
Yeah.
Religion.
Okay, so I got 2 of those, and then just reliquary. Got it.
Yeah, I was about to pay for half of that ring, but you can't buy the rest of it.
Yeah, because you basically got the whole ring's worth of gambling earnings.
I wouldn't have bought. Are we?
Well, I
we're
bet
still in the shop.
1,000. I only
We're
gave 2,000.
We're still in the shop. So no conversations about this ring until we
Well,
leave.
that was out of.
Yeah. Besides, the staircase is over there.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have a
This is not
there.
this is not the
Let's
time
take
nor the
over.
place to be having this conversation.
We're
Let's
not.
take 10 steps this way and revisit.
Like they want it to be private, but they appreciate everyone else hearing. Okay.
You know what's funny? It kind of makes me think, you know how like there's nowadays there's like games where rather than draw a battle map, you just like put index cards or something on there and that represents a place in the room and you just say, oh, I'm over by here, I'm over by here. If we did something like this, that would mean that every single room you guys entered into, I would need to have an index card that says stairwell
Yeah.
so that you guys could all move your stuff over there.
Like at the end of the round, you all meet at the stairwell to discuss what just happened. Kelma, did you pay? You paid me for that potion?
500, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
I took off 500, so you
gold?
only have
Is that gold or more bars that I can't use?
I did gold.
Okay. Good.
I did get bonus.
Because Calum does understand the exchange rate. He gave you frost gold coins.
Yeah, that's something. I'll work with it.
I still wish that, like, I was able to have
Your own
multiple
currency.
types of currency. Yeah, a lot of people have requested it, but
Okay, potions added to inventory.
This isn't the one that would have bags of holding, right?
You
The other place
yeah.
we're on?
ask around.
Oh,
yeah,
then
yeah.
yes. I will search for.
This is your en general magic shop.
Gotcha.
Take me to the
We only needed to go to one place. Then yeah, I will get
Oh.
the
Yeah.
bag of holding. Oh,
Okay.
well, I will ask what kinds of bags of holding you have.
Yep. You have a couple options. There's a bag of holding that you find that looks to be made entirely out of Yeti fur. So it's like this giant white furred monstrosity that actually really sticks out. But you know it's fluffy and can be used as a pillow when necessary.
I was thinking about
Yeah. And then there's a more traditional one that looks to be made out of like some kind of reindeer hide. But you know, just like some general kind of backpack styles, more akin to what you're used to, but they've obviously been dyed with a little more of a winter flair. So, like, some of them will either have like gold or silver threads. You know, include different kinds of, you know, textured and colored fabric, that kind of stuff.
I'll try to go for a basic one with base colors.
Okay.
It doesn't stand out too much.
Yeah, you find one that looks like if you carried it around in the prime material, people wouldn't look at you crazy. But, you know, it still works for its purpose.
Yeti fur, but
Do it.
I would definitely. Yeah, you know what? Yeti fur.
Yes.
I only had to get said to do it once.
It's basically like those really furry boots that like women rappers like to wear all the time, but as a backpack.
All right.
Yeah.
That is now going to be Kaylee's pillow and bag of holding.
Bag of holding your head while you sleep.
Pillow of holding.
Pillowcase.
Yes. So
Don't ask me
400
to
gold.
do a pillow fight. How much?
400 gold.
All right.
All right.
Doug.
Has everybody got their cool stuff? I'm good.
Yeah. Good here.
Okay. So, with that, you depart the Enchanted Flurry, and where are you guys heading now?
Well, we got our points of concern, so technically we should probably be heading to the Crystal Spire.
Okey-dokey.
As we start walking away. 5,000 gold for a ring of cold? Not in my fucking life. My grandfather had one of those. Cost him 200 gold. You know what? He gave it to the cat. Out of the 3 magical items that River had with him on their journey, one was a ring of warmth that was given to him. Like hell, I'm paying 5 grand on one of those rings. I will be the laughingstock of my family.
If they know.
Oh, they'll know. They always know.
Well, now that you've got that out of your system, are we good to proceed forward?
Kind of want to go hunt down his family and get the damn ring.
To get River's ring? Is that what you said?
Someone in his family's got to have it, or they sold it. They had very little monetary value.
I mean, you could just ask Calmac if he knows where the ring is. Isn't he related to?
Yeah, like, what if I can just ask him, like, hey, you know all the great items that River had when he went on those adventures? Like, whatever happened to those things? I'm like, oh, we just got rid of them. I was like, oh, you stupid.
Or watch it be like a ring that's in his like chainmail. That's his armor. It's literally just built in.
Hold a piece together. Like, I just had this thing lying around.
Yeah.
He's
Or
been
it's
resistant
his,
to
like,
cold the whole time.
or it was like one of his parents' like wedding rings, and just didn't know it was magical.
It's this entire family. This thing was just passed along. Whatever.
All right, off to the Crystal Spire.
So no, I would
Okay.
not be buying a 5 grand ring of warmth.
Okay. So, you guys head to the Crystal Spire. And I think that's actually probably the best in this, because next is probably a whole bunch of lore dump. So, yeah. Yeah, besides, like, we can just be done with a shopping episode, you know? Like, it's good.
I didn't break the bank.
I mean, I just used all the money I just got, so I'm chill.
I got reimbursed. It's real bad. After I edit down this episode, it's going to be like 2 hours long.
Oh, because you have to do a recap for the first hour.
I lost an hour of audio. They're like, crap. Yeah,
It's okay. Most of it was me talking anyway.
Your guys' vision stuff from the other plane. That was basically it.
Yeah. All right. Well, DM, how about that send off?
Hey guys, I'm glad you showed.
He really cares, doesn't he?
No. Alright guys, thanks for coming back out. Especially considering we're down a couple players today. We really appreciate it. So next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, we'll be back with Chapter 114 as we kind of continue on with the group's adventures here in the Fey Realm of Winter. Hopefully they don't get themselves killed, and we'll see whether or not the unfortunate section of the video that we may have to maybe clip is turns out to be anything really bad for these guys. And then also I might get to hit them with Frost Giants. One way or another, I'm getting Frost Giants.
Awesome. Every enemy from now on, you keep avoiding it. It's like, go back to the material plane. It's like, a lot of Frost Giants invading the town. Just probably take care of that. Fuck.
It's dangerous out there. Here, take this.
What's this say?
It's a bazooka.
Frost Giants are out there.
Yeah.
We're in a
It's like, it's dangerous out there. Here, take this. It's the nuclear launch codes.
Seems excessive.
Well,
good night, everyone. See you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.